Steady energy for the whole day. For decades, we were told that grains were the enemy. Carbs will make you gain weight, the magazines warned. Cut out bread if you want to stay healthy, the doctors echoed. And many older adults listened, pushing away whole bowls of rice or skipping oatmeal in the morning. But here's the truth. The right kind of grains, whole grains, do the opposite of what you fear. They don't drain your energy. They don't make your belly heavier. In fact, they are one of the most reliable ways to keep your body steady, your mind sharp, and your spirit lifted throughout the day. Let me tell you about a man named Robert, 68 years old, a retired firefighter. Robert used to crash every afternoon around 2 o'clock. He'd reach for a donut or pour another cup of coffee, desperate for energy. But then he discovered the power of oats. Within weeks of replacing his sugary breakfast with a warm bowl of steel-cut oatmeal, his afternoons transformed. He no longer felt the crash. He didn't need the extra coffee. His body was running, as he likes to say, on slow-burning fuel. That's the secret of whole grains. They're packed with complex carbohydrates, a type of energy your body releases gradually, like a log slowly glowing in a fire. Compare that to white bread or pastries. They burn hot and fast, like crumpled paper tossed into the flames. Quick energy, followed by sudden collapse. For older adults, stability is everything. A steady heart rate, a steady mood, a steady supply of energy. Whole grains deliver exactly that. One serving in the morning can carry you with clarity and calm until dinner. So the next time someone tells you grains are bad, remember Robert's story, remember the science, and remember this truth. Whole grains are not your enemy. They are the battery pack that keeps you strong, steady, and alive to enjoy every moment of the day. 2. Keeping the mind sharp. There is a common whisper that circles through retirement homes and senior gatherings. Forgetfulness is just part of getting old. Many accept this idea with a quiet sigh, believing memory loss is inevitable, like gray hair or wrinkles. But let me tell you, that belief is only half the truth. Yes, age changes the brain. But no, decline is not a one-way road. What you put on your plate can either speed the process or slow it down. Take Mary, a 72-year-old grandmother from Ohio. For years, she laughed at herself for misplacing her keys or losing her train of thought mid-sentence. Senior moments, she would joke. But when her daughter encouraged her to swap her usual white bread toast for whole grain rye, something unexpected happened. Over months, those senior moments became fewer. Her mind felt less foggy in the mornings. She began finishing crossword puzzles again, just like she used to. The reason? Whole grains are loaded with B vitamins, folate, and antioxidants that nourish the nervous system. They protect the tiny blood vessels that feed your brain. Think of them as oil for the gears in a clock. Without it, the gears grind and slow down. With it, they glide smoothly, ticking away in perfect rhythm. Refined grains, white bread, sugary cereals, pastries, are like sand in those gears. They spike your blood sugar, drain your focus, and leave your brain sluggish. But whole grains, they act like steady fuel, providing glucose, the brain's favorite energy source, in a slow, controlled stream. So the next time someone tells you that memory loss is simply your fate, remember Mary. Remember that your brain is alive, hungry, and capable of thriving, if you feed it wisely. Whole grains are not just food for the body. They are nourishment for the mind, keeping you sharp enough to hold memories, stories, and laughter for years to come. 3. Reawakening the muscles. There is a saying I've heard countless times from older men and women. After 60, the body just slows down, muscles fade, and that's the way it is. Many people believe strength belongs only to the young. But let me share a truth that might surprise you. Your muscles are not done yet. Even in your 60s, 70s, and beyond, they can be rebuilt, reawakened, and made strong again. And whole grains can play a bigger role than most people realize. Consider Frank, a 66-year-old retired school bus driver. He loved walking his dog each morning, but found himself growing weaker, his legs tiring on even short strolls. He assumed it was just old age. Then his doctor suggested a simple change. Swap his nightly plate of white rice for quinoa or farro. Within a few months, Frank noticed a difference. His walks grew longer. He could carry groceries without feeling winded. His wife joked that he looked younger simply because he moved with more confidence. What happened? Whole grains contain not just carbohydrates but also protein, essential amino acids, and minerals like magnesium that support muscle repair. They act as construction workers for your body, laying brick after brick to maintain your strength. Imagine trying to build a house without enough materials. That's what a diet lacking in whole grains does to your muscles. Add them back in, and suddenly the workers have the tools to keep building. Refined carbs, by contrast, are empty calories. They flood your body with quick energy but give nothing back to the muscles. Whole grains, on the other hand, provide lasting fuel and building blocks, a steady foundation that resists the slow fade of time. So, the next time you think muscle loss is inevitable, remember, Frank. Remember that your body isn't finished. Give it the right nourishment and your muscles can respond with surprising resilience. Whole grains aren't just food. They're the quiet switch that can turn your strength back on, helping you walk taller, live freer, and carry the weight of life with ease. 4. Protecting the joints, calming the fire. For many older adults, joint pain feels like an unwelcome companion that never leaves. Aching knees in the morning, stiff hips after sitting, swollen fingers that make it hard to open a jar. We often hear, "Well, that's just arthritis. It comes with age." But here's the truth. While aging may open the door, the fire of inflammation is what fuels the pain. And the right foods can either fan that fire or put it out. Take Eleanor, a 70-year-old retired nurse. She loved gardening but found herself avoiding her flower beds because of her aching knees. She tried pain creams, even considered injections. Then, at the suggestion of her granddaughter, she began starting her mornings with a simple bowl of steel-cut oats, topped with walnuts and blueberries. Within weeks, she noticed the stiffness easing. After a few months, she was back in her garden, kneeling among the roses with a smile. What changed? Whole grains are rich in compounds like beta-glucan and polyphenols, natural anti-inflammatories that calm the body's overactive immune response. Instead of fueling the fire, they help smother it, protecting your joints from the wear and tear of constant inflammation. Think of it this way. If inflammation is rust slowly eating away at your hinges, whole grains are the oil that keeps those hinges moving smoothly. By contrast, refined grains and sugary foods throw gasoline on the flames, spiking blood sugar and triggering inflammatory responses that make every step more painful. For older adults, mobility means freedom, the ability to walk the dog, play with grandchildren, or tend to the garden without fear of pain. Whole grains are not a cure-all, but they are a powerful ally in keeping the fire of inflammation under control. So, the next time your joints ache, don't just reach for a pill bottle. Reach for a bowl of oats, a slice of whole grain bread, or a serving of brown rice. Because every bite of whole grain is not just food, it is a shield, protecting your body from the flames of pain. 5. Building stronger bones. When people talk about bone health, the first word that comes to mind is usually calcium. Milk, cheese, supplements, these are the usual recommendations. But bones are not built on calcium alone. They are living structures, constantly breaking down and rebuilding. To stay strong, they need a full team of nutrients: magnesium, phosphorus, manganese, and yes, calcium too. And here's the surprising part. Whole grains are one of the most overlooked allies in this process. Let me share the story of Linda, a 74-year-old grandmother from Arizona. She had a fall in her kitchen that left her with a painful wrist fracture. Her doctor warned her about osteoporosis and told her to focus on bone health. At first, she only thought of milk. But when her daughter introduced her to whole grain barley and brown rice, something shifted. Over time, with her improved diet, her bone density scores stabilized. She didn't just avoid further fractures, she regained the confidence to join a local dance class she'd given up years earlier. Why? Whole grains provide magnesium and phosphorus, two minerals crucial for bone strength. Magnesium helps the body absorb and use calcium properly, while phosphorus is a key part of bone's actual structure. Think of calcium as the bricks in a house, and magnesium and phosphorus as the mortar that holds everything together. Without the mortar, the walls weaken. Refined grains, stripped of their bran and germ, lose most of these essential minerals. It's like removing the very ingredients your bones need to rebuild themselves. Over time, that loss adds up. For older adults, strong bones mean independence. The freedom to walk without fear, to carry groceries, to dance, to live without the shadow of frailty. So yes, drink your milk if you enjoy it, but don't forget the grain on your plate. Whole grains are not just fuel for today, they are building blocks for the very foundation of your body, your bones. 6. Protecting the heart and circulation. If there's one organ that never rests, it's your heart. From the first beat before you were born until the last, it works tirelessly. More than 100,000 beats every single day, yet too often we take it for granted. We only think about it when something goes wrong. High blood pressure, clogged arteries, chest pain. Many believe heart disease is an unavoidable part of aging. But the truth is this: your heart can be protected, strengthened, and kept young with the right fuel. Meet George, a 71-year-old Vietnam veteran. For years, his doctor warned him about rising cholesterol and blood pressure. He cut down on red meat, walked a little more, but the numbers didn't improve much. Then, almost reluctantly, he agreed to try a new habit, replacing his morning white toast with whole grain bread and swapping white rice for brown. Within 6 months, his cholesterol levels dropped, his blood pressure steadied. At his next checkup, his doctor told him, "George, your heart is younger than it was a year ago." The secret lies in the fiber, antioxidants, and plant compounds inside whole grains. Soluble fiber, especially, acts like a sponge inside the body. It binds to excess cholesterol, pulling it out before it can clog your arteries. Antioxidants reduce oxidative stress, the rust that weakens blood vessels. Whole grains also help regulate blood sugar, preventing the spikes and crashes that overwork the heart. Refined grains, by contrast, strip away these protective elements. They give you calories without the shield, leaving your circulation vulnerable. For older adults, a strong heart is more than just good numbers on a chart. It's the ability to climb stairs without gasping, to laugh without wheezing, to dance with your spouse or hold your grandchild without fear. So the next time you choose between white or whole, remember George. Remember your heart, because every bite of whole grain is a gift to the organ that has carried you through a lifetime and still has more to give. 7. Longevity and vitality. Most people talk about living longer, but ask anyone over 65 and you'll hear a different desire. I don't just want more years, I want good years. Years with energy, with freedom, with dignity. That is what longevity truly means, not just adding days to your life, but adding life to your days. And here's the truth: whole grains, humble as they may seem, can be a part of that secret. Take Harold and June, a married couple in their late 70s from Vermont. Their children noticed something unusual about them. While many of their peers were slowing down, Harold and June were still hiking, traveling, and laughing like they did in their 50s. Their secret wasn't exotic diets or miracle pills. It was consistency. Oatmeal for breakfast, whole grain bread with lunch, quinoa or barley with dinner. Small habits, repeated daily, built a foundation for resilience. Science supports their story. Diets rich in whole grains are linked to lower risks of heart disease, diabetes, obesity, and even certain cancers, the very conditions that steal years from life and life from years. Whole grains provide steady energy, keep weight stable, protect the organs, and calm the inflammation that silently ages the body. But the real gift of whole grains is not just in preventing disease. It's in what they give you today. Sharper focus to read a book, stronger legs to climb stairs, steadier joints to play with your grandchildren, and the confidence to keep dreaming about tomorrow. Longevity is not luck. It is built, choice by choice, bite by bite. So, as you stand at the crossroads of your later years, ask yourself, what kind of old age do you want? One of decline or one of vitality? Because every spoonful of whole grain is more than food. It is an investment, not just in living longer, but in living better.